Welcome to another episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro. In this episode, I'll be showing you how to restore headlights that have been previously restored before from this to something more like this. Let's get down to business. As you see here, these lights aren't terrible bad. They are just peeling. That is the clear coat that is peeling. This gentleman took extremely good care of his vehicle. This headlight restoration wasn't so bad. It lasted for about 5 years plus. But as you see, it's flaking here. This is what it's designed to do, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a working car, everyday car, no matter how good you take care of this vehicle, I believe this is a 2012 Toyota Corolla. It doesn't matter. It's going to go bad sooner or later. This car, if you could see the whole car, he took really good care of this vehicle. But it is a daily driver and it has been parked outside every day of its life. So he got about 5 years out of it. When the clear coat starts failing, if you use proper clear coat, this is what happens. It starts flaking off. And yeah, he should have called me sooner because, as you see at the top, it's yellowing there. You don't want that because then it starts causing permanent damage. But anyways, starting this step here with a P500 sanding disc. Right now, as you see, I'm focusing on the damage. Once that clear coat leaves your headlight, the damage develops pretty quickly. So I'm trying to remove as much of it as I can where the clear coat was gone and it was bare light. Then I will be moving on. As you see here, I am taking away the old existing clear coat that was put on here. Whoever did this headlight restoration was not me. I actually did a decent job, and they actually used a proper clear coat, as I say, or headlight clear coat, as I say, that has UV protected in it, and it's designed to be removed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say you must use a product that says designed for headlight clear coat, headlight UV clear coat. If it does not say for headlight use, you do not put on the headlight, because actual headlight clear coat contains a large amount of UV protectant, which keeps the headlight cool. The cooling of the headlight keeps it from cracking and having defects come in from the UV, or aka the sun rays, penetrating the light, and keeps the heat down from the light. Inside the light, or modern lights, shall I say, have that mirror-like substance in there, that mirror-like tin. That is designed to boost the light. If you boost the light, you boost the heat. So if you do not have UV repellent in your UV coating, you're just causing permanent damage underneath the coating. And when in the past that I have removed these clear coats that were not standard headlight clear coats, they were designed for something else, whether it be furniture polish or actual vehicle clear coat people put on these headlights, it just causes a ruckus in the headlight. It causes permanent damage because it bonds too hard, and it does not have UV coating in it or UV repellent in it, and it just ends up damaging the light because it's clear at first and looks beautiful, right? But then in a couple months, you're going to be really pissed off when somebody tries to remove it and they can't get it off your light. It's too hard and it's not designed for what they're using it for. As I just showed you on my finger, that nice soft white powdery dust, like little snowflakes, that's what you want. And that's one of the main important ingredients that you need to have a proper headlight coating. It needs to be able to be removed because, once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a forever thing. It is, it's temporary, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, sooner or later, if you have a working vehicle that's not a show car, that's in the garage about 300 days a year, your headlights are going to need to be redone, and you're going to want that stuff to come off. You want something that's designed to come off. You're going to want something that's designed to stick to the headlight not over bond to the headlight. Over bonding meaning sometimes I've took off these things that aren't supposed to be on headlights, and they warp the headlight, and they burn the headlight, and they discolor the headlight after a couple years or after a couple months or whatnot. And it's unfortunate that people are out here taking advantage of people, spraying whatever they want on this on their headlights. The number one thing I swear by is those 2K clears. Those are the worst. Then people are putting actual clear coat sprayed from a spray gun, or a clear coat that is designed for a vehicle's paint, not headlight, onto the headlights, and it's really messing stuff up. So make sure your products are headlight certified, or say 4 headlights on them, whether it's a kit, whether it's a clear coat or whatever. Try to get something that says 4 headlight as much as possible, unless you're just that educated and you know what to use and what not to use. Gonna go ahead and skip ahead a little bit for the next step. Little blower action to keep my pallet and work area clean and free of dust and debris. Getting ready to do some hand sanding to smooth out some of those swirls there, and also to hit the areas that were hard to hit with the drill. Certain areas you don't want to go too deep with the drill or too close to the edge with the drill, just because there's a lot of power, so it's easier just to bust out with a little bit of hand sanding. I never used to do this, and as hand sanding is far it's inferior compared to actual sanding with a power tool. It's kind of like cutting grass, one of those old lawnmowers that you push and it's rotary and they turn, or you get a sit down lawnmower. Which one's going to work better? But they do have their place. It does have its place. Like I said, certain lights, the way they're developed, like this one has that lip right there underneath. You don't want to run too much power there, because you will start eating up your tape. If you eat your tape up too much, you'll start eating up paint. You don't want that. You're here to help a friend, or take care of a light for a paying customer or something like that. You don't want to have to fix that paint or pay somebody to fix that paint if you don't know how to do it. Safety first. Number one rule is do your best not to damage the vehicle. And like the title says, I do this professionally, so I do a cast off, not a tape off. I put many, many layers. It's almost like building a cast around the light. This is to give me a peace of mind and help me feel safe and comfortable enough to work. Because in my profession, if you damage the vehicle, guess what? You got to take care of it. You're liable for it. It's not your friend's car. It's not, your car. You have to make it right. For this next step here, using a P800 white sanding disc. This is a finesse disc. It's designed to take out minor scratches and swirls, a fine layer, an extra fine layer. It really just breaks down the damage or the swirls or pivots, divots, and cuts and stuff like that from the first pad, which is the P800, which is designed to do all the heavy removing. This one is designed to fix the side effect of doing all that heavy removing closer to the finished product that you need. Once again, always using smooth, flat strokes, keeping the pad flat and smooth against the light. Always using 2 hands. Never really pushing too much, just pretty much using the weight or the equivalent of the weight of the drill itself. You're not really pushing too hard. When you push too hard, or if you push, you have a risk of cracking light. Not all lights are in good condition like this. Some lights have cracking or spider cracking and things like that, which I'll be going into in the future. You can easily damage or crack the light from too much pressure. Too much heat, you can cause burns in the lights. You have too much pressure, you provide too much heat to one certain area. You sit the drill still too long, You will develop burns and deep divots from the sanding discs. All kind of things happen. So the best thing to not get that going on is just keep it flat, smooth, and use the weight of the drill with just a little bit of pressure. Using the same pad, attaching to my hand sanding device here. Getting ready to do some hand sanding. The main purpose I do this after this step is to delete those swirls as you see here and make them more horizontal and or vertical. I do scratch removal as well off of paint. Any kind of swirling or anything like that is harder to remove. Straight lines, scientifically, straight lines are easier to remove, are easier to mask and hide. Swirls are much more difficult. So this step right here really affects your outcome, your clarity. You might not be able to see the swirls in your finished product, but they are there. They are, or they will be there if you don't do this step here. Drills only go in circle, so the only way to really do this is by hand, and it's not really with that much pressure. It's very light, very gentle pressure I'm using, and just kind of erasing those swirls and turning them into horizontal lines, as you see right there. Those attribute to better clarity and easier to mask and hide. Skipping ahead here a little bit to the next step. For this step, basic water, tap water. I just shook it up. That's why you see that foam. Spraying the light, not too much, just a generous amount, and also spraying the pad. That pad is a P3000 pad. It's a pad, not a disc. It's actually spongy, kind of like a sponge with the disc portion on the outside. It's very, very fine wet sanding. It's kind of like a cross between sanding and polishing. This is one of the magic steps, one of the must-have steps. If not, you would still see too many, stripes or swirls or anything like that into your final product, which you do not want. You want to always achieve the highest level of clarity. This helps the person see at night. This helps the actual aesthetic and visual beauty of the light. You want the clarity. Clarity is what you're after. That is in the sense of functionality, and that is in the sense of, aesthetic look. Like I said, you want to look good. You want the customer to be able to see at night. You want your friend or your car. You want to be able to see at night good, and you want to look good. For as what customers need and don't know they need, you need to also do that too if you want to be a Headlight Pro. You want to make sure you have the proper quality of supplies. This heavily comes into place with the final step, clear coat. You want to make sure it's always a headlight restoration product designed for headlight. You want to make sure it says this on the product or kit or whatever you're using. This being said, the customer won't know. You should know, but the customer won't know if you did that or not. You want to do that if you're providing good business. You want to make sure that these products can be removed or these products won't damage the light. You don't want a quick sell. If you're doing good business or if you have any compassion or care for the person that you're working for, you want to make sure that stuff comes off and doesn't damage the light. Like I said in the beginning, how that stuff was flaking off and it was coming off, they use proper headlight sealant. You don't want them coming back to you in a couple years and you're telling them you can't get it off or your light's damaged because I put this on, or somebody else. You don't want them going to somebody else and being like, you put this stuff on my light. They come back to you, you put this stuff on my light and my light is ruined. This is what you don't want. Good business is providing something to someone that is going to be the best or good in every way imaginable, every way possible for you to make it. So let's do good business, people. See how the Windex here dehydrates, it evaporates, it clears all of the saturants, all of the oils, all that stuff off of the headlight so you can do this next step better. Dehydration is a must. You want to see that evaporation happen. For this next step here, I'm using a certified headlight polish, headlight hard lens polish. Like I said, always use the merchandises that say for headlights first. Don't use those ones that don't say. You can theoretically. I've practiced, shall I say, with regular polishes or whatnot. They come out okay, but these hard lens polishes, which there's dozens of companies that make them, actually designed to polish plastic, primarily clear plastic at that. So they work a lot better. You want to use what is proper for the right job. Anyways, for this step, I'm using a 3M Finesse orange pad. I'm using my high-powered 12-volt polisher. Right now, I'm using it on a high setting, being as I have a big, broad headlight. You want to avoid using these high settings in the corners or anywhere where it'll get jammed or any kind of sharp edges, because you run the risk of burning or other little things you can do that you don't want to do. High setting on this goes all the way up to 7,800 RPM. Provide a lot of rotations per minute on one given spot or any given spot. That's why I'm vigorously moving it, because those rotations per minute provide a high amount of friction. Friction is heat. You don't want to burn the headlight, which will happen if you go too hard in one area for too long, or you let your pad dry out. It's a pain in the ass. You don't want it to happen. It's difficult to fix. Maybe we'll go into that in a future tutorial, but generally I try not to make mistakes. That's the best practice as well. Okay, so getting ready to test this spot here at the top, to make sure that I removed as much as I possibly can. As you see at the top right here, I'm just testing a small spot, but you see this area right here through here. It is still slightly yellow, and I suspect that that is from letting that area go too long without protection. As you see, that is where the flaky area, you can see the outline of that flaky area, which is a forward facing, which I call it, or vertical facing area of the light, which goes bad faster, or it attracts more sunlight more than any other area of the light because it's facing upwards towards the sun. So when the sun comes up, it's hitting it. The sun goes down, it's hitting it. All day, it's hitting it. So it might be a little bit of permanent damage, but no worries. We can go ahead and clear it up as much as possible, and it should cover up real nice. But these are the kind of things that are underneath a headlight once you redo a headlight. And as I suspected, it is a little bit of permanent damage, which sometimes the damage goes too deep. You could only remove so much of the headlight before it becomes problematic. You don't want to hit a headlight that's going to break because a piece of dust hit it on the freeway. So, just like I suspected, it is a little bit of yellowing, permanent yellowing from the exposure to the sun. In my opinion, I think he probably went for a couple months during the summer, maybe the whole summer with that off, and it's just not going to come out. So we're going to do our best to polish it up and mask it. You got to work the best you can with what is given to you. Not all headlights are created equal. Not all of them are going to be a picnic in sunshine days. Some of them are nightmares, but you got to make them into dreams. Drying off a little light buff with the microfiber towel. And as you'll see here in the last step, proper clear coat or spraying clear coat is very helpful to mask and blend in some of those defects that are in the light. There's many defects that come from a light that are not removable, but you can seal them and coat them, and they will not be noticeable. A little more air to make sure you get all of that dust off, all of those little lint particles off, because you don't want to bond those to the light, or have a headlight with dust or bugs or whatever inside of the headlight, which happens. This next step here, using a proper headlight restoration spray. Spray is always going to be superior than any other kind of application method of headlight clear coating. This headlight clear coating has a strong deposit of UV protectant. It bonds and provides a crystal clear shell of the light, with no streaking, no dripping, no weird stuff like that. If you apply it properly, that is. You can apply this the wrong way. There's a couple different sprays, but more commonly there are other ones that I tend not to like to use. I have them for certain emergencies or certain days or whatnot, but they're just inferior to any kind of spray method. The reason why a lot of them do not use the spray method in their kits or produce them is because it's more expensive to bottle and put something in a can that way, when you can just put it in a towelette or a little tiny bottle. But these are prone for streaking. These are prone for not delivering enough. That wraps this episode up. Please like and subscribe and share.